Hey, it's Tracy. I was wanting to talk today about bands from Kansas City or close by. One of the biggest bands that ever came out of this area was Kansas, the band. They released multiple albums in the early 70s. Unfortunately, at this moment, I don't have any of their vinyl albums. Over the years, when I've listened to them, just got to the point where I thought I'm not listening to them very much, so I traded them off and got some different albums. Kansas was big for four or five really big songs, I guess four that I can really remember. Carry On Wayward Son, What's on My Mind, Point of No Return, and of course, the biggest hit they ever had, which was Dust in the Wind. Steve Walsh, the lead singer, went on to have a solo career. Steve was actually from St. Louis, but he had a big hit off of that album, his solo album, which was Every Step of the Way. I got to see Kansas at Sandstone Theater. I still call it Sandstone. It's out in Bonner Springs here, close to Kansas City. And unfortunately, that's another story of seeing them in concert, but let's just say that they are in my top 10 worst concerts I've ever seen. It was the end of their career. It just wasn't the right night, I guess. So that's one of the biggest bands from Kansas City. Let's look at another one, which is going to be Missouri. So Missouri, again, self-titled album. Seems that whenever I go to the record store, I wind up picking up another copy of it. We don't see them very often, and it's like it's in really good shape, I pick it up. Now, this is, to me, like a monumental album in regards to it. It is just solid all the way through. Every song on it is just great. Had a huge hit on it, which was Moving On. And it was actually produced by Chris Fritz back in the day here. He was an early promoter in the Kansas City area. If there was a rock concert going on in Kansas City, Chris Fritz was part of promoting it here in Kansas City. So he helped produce this, put this album out. They actually came out with another album, Missouri 2. And on that, they had a hit also, Sunshine Girl. But they reduplicated two songs off of the first album, which was kind of strange. But they went from self-produced album here to Polydor Records. And they re-recorded Moving On, which again was a big hit on the first album. And I Really Love You. If I had to pick one of the two, I'm going with this one. You can tell when this one was mastered, it's a little layered. You can still feel that where they're putting the layers on and tracking it, but it doesn't take away from the music and how good it is, and the vocals and the songwriting. It's not really Southern rock, but it's definitely just on the edge of that, but it's rock. So again, Missouri, great addition to Kansas City's portfolio of bands. Another band that, in my opinion, was just when you get that first album and they put it out, it's just everything hits, everything's right, and it's just amazing. You know, sometimes you have to be in the right frame of mind when you hear that album the first time, but Shooting Star, which is a huge album from Kansas City, the band is, and it is just, I can't recommend this album enough. Not that you're just from Kansas City, but this album is just great all the way through. I mean, I think that my favorite song on is Last Chance, but I mean, there's just so many good songs on it. Like I said, it's a well-produced, well-mixed, well-written, and well-played musicianship album of that. Now, the second album that came from them that really was good is Hang On For Your Life, and it didn't really have commercial success, in my opinion, but it had some really good songs on it. I mean, had Breakout, which I guess was a pretty big song. At least we heard it in Kansas City at the time. You know, as we look at these albums were made in 1980, 1981. So, but again, either of these first two albums, Shooting Stars titled album or Hang On For Your Life, are really good albums. I've got some of the others just because they're in Kansas City bands, and at some point they'll make it out of my collection so I can pick up some other new vinyl. Now I wanted to talk about a couple of current local bands here from Kansas City. First one's near and dear to my heart. I've known these guys for a long, long time. and which is the Shy Boys. They are an indie rock, Beatles influenced and Beach Boys influenced indie rock band locally here. They were on the High Dive label. This album was put out self-titled, Shy Boys, High Dive. Again, I've got a 45. They put out a 45 of it. And then they had another album they put out, which then they moved from the High Dive, which, hey, High Dive is just not the coolest logo you can see from a record company, High Dive Records. They since have gone on. They are now with Polyvinyl, which I've got a t-shirt from Polyvinyl also. But Shy Boys, Bell House, and they've made waves here in our local magazines. The pitch is like, who doesn't love the Shy Boys? Anyhow, terrific album. One thing that's really cool with indie labels is they can still do all the things that are really cool, which this one's on green vinyl. Again, Shy Boys, Bell House. And you can see their career, how they've progressed, and they've started getting all the different layers, and all the songwriting is really coming together. Their latest album on Polyvinyl is Talk Loud, and I got it, the early bird special, ordered it actually off the website of Polyvinyl, and it came and gave stickers, and it was really, really quick shipping from when they promised it, but it is blue with pink splatter, so really cool on that. Nice logo on it. They are, again, a Beatles-influenced, Beach Boys Pet Sound influence, a little bit experimental, but they're an indie rock band with really good lyrics and songwriting and musicianship. Two guys I'm partial to is Kyle and Colin Roush that's on that in that band. So congrats to them on having it so far. They've got some really good music they put out, and looking forward to hearing something from them in the near future. The one that I think I'm going to go ahead and review, which is a band that hasn't recorded anything lately, it's actually going to be a few years old, but is Not a Planet. So I'm going to do a review here on the band Not a Planet from Kansas City. So I wanted to do a local record review on a band, Not a Planet. They haven't came out with anything for a while. The only vinyl that I have from them is this album right here, Not a Planet, Smoke Bombs and Cigarettes, The History of Now. Pretty cool album cover, pretty cool graphics. These songs are as EPs. There's 4 songs on there, and songs are all really good. The cool thing about this one is that it is mastered at 45 speed. So that was a huge bonus to get that. It was really cool to have it on that. But what I wanted to talk about is their first album, and it was The Few, The Proud, The Strange. And we'll talk about that. It was released in 2013. 3-piece band. Nathan Corsi is the singer of this band, Not a Planet, and again from Kansas City, locally here. And we're going to review their album and a couple of the songs that are on there. They have a few songs that are kind of Black Keys influenced, it sounds like. They had Black Dress is that, and My Train Is Coming. Kind of has a little bit of sound or feel to what the Black Keys are, at least the tempos of some of them. My Train Is Coming has these drums that just rumble and these guitar riffs that just keep going. It just is like getting on a train and going. It's a powerhouse song, rock song all the way through. So those are a couple of really good songs that are on there. Well, the song that starts off the album is Greatest Show on Earth. Starts off with some sound effects that are kind of an elephant. You can tell of animals, and again it has this theme of the circus that runs through it that is trying to draw parallels to our real life. And on there, one of the lyrics is "Life is but a gamble," which kind of really rings true and gives some meaning to this song in how they're constructing it. There's another couple of songs on here, a couple of love songs, really. Girl Comes Down and The End. And Girl Comes Down, it's just pure poetry, really. This song is pure poetry about how somebody's love can make a huge impression on you. It just has this imagery that is from the atmosphere and from the stars and the sky. Is a beautiful song. Girl Comes Down. The other one is The End, and it's a love song that really, in the end, he says, Nathan Corsi, that is, the lyrics is in the end, love is the only truth, which is very poignant. So there's also another song, There's No Coming Back, and there's just this wall of sound that grows throughout it and puts these layers on it like you're on a train, and Nathan Corsi sings of this conductor on the train saying, everybody on board, that there's no coming back from where we're going. Again, very introspective, and all these imageries that you can just try to imagine what's going on, or what's going on with your life or their life. It's just a really, really good song and lyric writing of that. Another song is Free to Be Chained, which I think, my opinion is, it begs the question is even though we're free, are we really free when we continue to do the same things over and over, you know? So the one thing that goes through this is the way this album is mastered, the way it sounds is really crisp and clear, but then at times there is this a little bit of reverb that gives this beauty and this echo to it. Again, which sometimes has on a little bit of the Black Keys album, so of that. But there's one song there called Invisible Man that when I hear it, it's the drums, the guitar hooks, and the way he sings, it screams to me hit single. It's just one of those songs that you go, wow, when you hear it. It just has this over top, just kind of zip and zing to it, where it's really kind of magical. It starts and it progresses and then it ends, and it's just like, wow, you know, it just makes me think, how come this didn't become a hit single, you know? There's another song on there called Low that is is kind of a dark song, but it has this White Stripes kind of feel to it, but it is hard rock and blues to it. I mean, really hard rock and blues, slowed down anyhow, and he begs the question, how low will I go? The last song on the album is I've Got a Secret. It starts with an elephant roar and a crowd rumbling and talking, and then the piano and bass and guitar come in, and Nathan Corsi, the singer, says, find me a place, Michael, find me a place. And then he starts in singing this really high, smooth voice of I've got a secret, come closer, I've got a secret. And then he sings, no one ever lived like the day a bullet flew. And then in the end ends up saying, I've got a secret, you can fly too. Just a great song, and it leaves you wanting more. It's only about 3 minutes, but just a great song that has this feel to it and has hope and makes you wanting more from it. So unfortunately, I don't have this album on vinyl. It's not available that I'm aware of on vinyl, but you can purchase it on iTunes and other digital media. If you go to their website, you can go to notaplanet.com. I think you can order it there and download it there. Again, I believe it's on iTunes. I've got it on my iPod from iTunes. That's how I've listened to this album. I once had a CD and have somehow lost it. I wish I could find that CD again. But again, this is my review. Not a Planet, great local Kansas City band that has put an album out in my collection, not on vinyl, but as an album, and is probably in the top 100 of my all-time albums that I have heard and listened to and that I really like. Again, it's Tracy. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you. Hey, it's Tracy with the Spin Around. This week I want to talk to you about how bands are trying to stay connected with their fans. So back in 2018, Pearl Jam had some shows that went off. They were the home and away shows, and their shows in Seattle that were the home shows benefited the homeless, a large community in Seattle. And since the pandemic hit, they had a tour scheduled, and they were unable, obviously, to tour during the pandemic. And in a way to try to stay connected to their fans, they released the home shows on an on-demand streaming on the internet. And in commemorate some of those to stay close to their fans, they also released commemorative posters for the live stream home shows. So that's what I've got here, part of the Tin Club. Pearl Jam Fan Club is one of the live stream home shows posters. So we're gonna unbox this and pull it out and take a look at it. So at every Pearl Jam show, they have multiple different posters that are done by artists that help benefit those artists. And they're all really, really cool in regards to it. They're all really different. And each show has, like I said, 4 or 5 different posters, and every show has a different one that is commemorated for just that show. This is a poster that was for the home shows here in Seattle. And this was actually to benefit the homeless, but this was commemorating, as you can tell here, the home shows, Seattle, Washington. It was broadcast on February 12th, 2021, commemorating that. As you tell, this artwork here was done by Ian Williams. Again, very cool, has the Seattle Space Needle here in the background. So again, very cool. So this is another way that bands are staying close to their fan base and being able to interact with them by showing concerts that they recorded and rebroadcast. And sometimes they commemorate it with like some very cool posters like this. Huge Pearl Jam fan here, and glad to get this poster put in my collection. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Record Fuel, and please make sure to like and subscribe and leave comments down below. It's Tracy, Record Fuel. Thank you. The Pearl Jam home shows raised more than $11 million through the band's Vitalogy Foundation by big and small philanthropic businesses and fan contributions to fight homelessness in Seattle. For more information, please visit pearljam.com.